Hey everyone, Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'm showing you how to make a peach cobbler. My peach cobbler recipe is super simple to make and it is made 100% from scratch. Now to get started, the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, we can prep our peach mixture. This is going to go on the bottom of our cobbler. Now the first thing you're going to need is a large bowl, one that is large enough to hold 3 pounds of sliced peaches. To this bowl, we'll add 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1½ tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Stir everything together until that brown sugar is nicely broken up and everything's nicely combined. We're going to be tossing our peaches in this mixture, so you want everything to be evenly distributed. Now we'll prep our peaches. You will need 3 pounds of fresh peaches. Now I'm preparing this video while it's still not really summertime. Peaches really aren't at their best point. These came from the supermarket and are a little sad, but I really recommend using fresh, juicy peaches if you can get your hands on them. It's only going to make the flavor of your peach cobbler better. What we're going to do is we're going to peel each of these peaches, and then we'll go ahead and slice these into pieces that are no thicker than 1/4 inch. And toss these peach slices into your sugar mixture, but don't worry about stirring everything together just yet. Now before we toss everything together in this bowl, we're also going to add a splash of lemon juice. You'll need 1½ tablespoons. Now you can toss everything together. You want to make sure that all of your peaches are nicely coated and evenly coated with this cinnamon, sugar, cornstarch mixture. So you want to also make sure you're scraping the bottom and sides of the bowl so that there's none of that mixture hiding in the bottom. You don't want a pocket of that in the bottom. Now our peaches are looking pretty good, so we're just gonna set these aside and let them sit while we prepare our cobbler topping. Now for the topping, I'm just using a simple sweetened biscuit-like mixture, and I'm going to be making this in my food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can just use a pastry cutter or even a fork and a knife to cut the butter into the mixture instead. That will work just fine. We're going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to add this into the basin of my food processor. We'll also add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now add your lid, and we'll just pulse until these are combined. Now we will add our butter, and this is the part where you would use a pastry cutter if you don't have a food processor. You would just cut the butter in at this point until your mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Now you're going to need 1 stick or 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, and as you can see, I've cut this into about 8 pieces, about 8 tablespoon sized pieces. I'm just going to scatter this evenly over my flour mixture. And we'll pulse everything again until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. This is looking pretty good, so we will add our cream and our heavy milk at this point. You need 1/2 cup of heavy cream and 1/3 cup of whole milk. And we're just going to briefly pulse these ingredients together until everything is combined and you have a nice soft dough. This is looking pretty good, so now we can go ahead and assemble and bake our peach cobbler. So to do this, you're going to need a 9x13 baking dish. I've gone ahead and lightly greased the sides and bottom of this pan with a little bit of butter. And so we'll add our peaches. I'm just going to evenly layer these into the bottom of this pan. And now we'll evenly distribute our biscuit-like topping over our peaches. Now you can use your hands to do this, that would be totally fine as well. But one thing that's important to note is that you're not going to cover all of the peaches with the topping mixture. That's fine, it's going to spread a little bit in the oven. But also when you are distributing this topping, you don't want to have just large piles in some spots and then nothing in others. You want to kind of evenly distribute this topping so that the amount of topping, the pile of topping that's in one spot, it's not higher than it is in any other spot. All right, our peach cobbler is now off to our 350 degree Fahrenheit preheated oven, where it will need to bake for about 45 to 55 minutes. When it's finished baking, your topping should be a nice golden brown color, and if you can see any of that peach filling, it should be nice and bubbly. Your peach cobbler is going to be really hot at this point, so you're going to want to let it cool for a few minutes before you dig in, but don't wait too long because it is best served warm. This part is optional, but I always recommend topping off cobbler with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. And that is how you make peach cobbler completely from scratch. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe. If you try this one out, please leave me a comment. I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed today's peach cobbler recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, here are a few others you might like as well.